Hello guys, you're welcome to Minority Report Nigeria. I'm Chidozie.
And I'm Walter.
Today on the show, we would be debuting a new segment of Minority Report Nigeria called Ask TMR. Since we started the show, from time to time we get messages in our inbox, people who have certain issues and want advice on it. And so far we have been handling those messages inbox, but then we decided that our audience could benefit from, talking about such issues on the show.
So in that vein, we have our first query, our first issue from a person who we're just going to call M. He says, I am a teenager who is dating an older man who has all these rules and expectations about how I am supposed to behave in our relationship. He is also married and does not expect himself to behave in a way that respects that relationship. Plus, he's always using the age thing to scold me about how to speak to him and act around him. I feel suffocated. He's the first man I've ever loved. I don't know what to do.
For starters, this is clearly an abusive relationship. People usually think about abusive relationships as when the person is hitting you and or whatnot. This is clearly an instance of manipulation. One person holds all the cards in the relationship. One person decides what happens. For starters, as a teenager, you shouldn't even we don't know the age of the person in question, but I think that description, teenager, it says everything there is to say. In your teenage years, it's best to, if you're going to be in a relationship at all, it's best to do that to people in your age,
in your peer
bracket.
Because,
exactly.
There's this thing I watched on a channel, and the lady was talking. She was essentially talking to women, and she was talking about the dangers of women dating older men, and this thing called a life bracket. Like how people it's problematic for somebody, an older man, a much older man, to be dating a much younger woman, and it's not just about
much younger girl.
It's not just about the age thing. It's about there's a specific age thing. Like, for instance, it's a different thing when the girl is 18, 19, 20, and the person she's dating is a man who's in his 30s. Now that, according to this channel, is a more problematic situation than when the man is in his 40s and he's dating someone who's in his 30s. So there's this thing about a life bracket where the person who is in the 20s and a teenager has different aspirations and has different things, issues,
priorities.
Yeah, different priorities from what a person who is in his 30s or 40s has. And so that kind of relationship cannot be an equal one. It has no the dynamics are going to always be
skewed, and
there's no power, there's no power. There's no way the person who's younger can possibly have any power or any agency in such a relationship. We frequently get all these protestations, objections from people who say, but I'm into your older men, and coming from someone who's a teenager, it's questionable. How can you really say you're into older men if that is what you've always been exposed to, all you've known?
And also, in talking about being into older men, it's like you said already, it's really, strictly speaking, it's really not about the age differential. There's a world of difference between, say, a 30-year-old dating somebody who is 49, 50, as opposed to somebody who is 30 dating, subtract 18 from 30 years. I mean, it's completely different, right? So it's not, strictly speaking, it's not about the age differential. It's just that at every stage in a person's life, particularly as a teenager, you are coming into your own. At that stage in your life, you don't know what you like.
You haven't even figured out your life.
Exploration is something that should be done with people on that same journey with you, because somebody who has already come into their own, somebody who already knows what they want. When you pair that, somebody who still doesn't know who they are with somebody who has a very clear idea who they are, you pair that and you put in the mix, the power dynamics. There's certainly going to be a difference, like economic power. Somebody who is married obviously should have money to cater to a family, as opposed to a teenager who's you know, you wait on handouts from your parents and all that. So those sort of, it's a really messy mix. Long and short of it is, break up with this person. This is not good for you. It's not healthy. You know, there are certainly, if it's a question of dating, there are certain people in your age bracket who are having this on the same journey as you, having the same, who you have like similar experiences with.
There's a sort of plaintiveness in his query, in his words, that says, "I feel suffocated. He's the first man I've ever loved." It implies like there's this helplessness. He's in other words saying there's a certain kind of loneliness that comes from, okay, so if without him I don't know any other person. Essentially what I'm trying to say is, if yes, he should break up with him, he should get out of the relationship, and then he should spend a little more time not focus on getting with people for the purpose of dating. Just spend a little more time making more friends, building up a support system, building up a community around him, so that, you know, that that people, when there are more people who think like you and who have the same kind of aspirations and the same kind of priorities around you, it makes it very easy for you to detect when somebody is bullshitting you or somebody is gaslighting you. You know, when that is why somebody in isolation is easy prey for manipulation, whether emotional or physical or whatever. But when you have people around you, when you have friends, when you have a community, when you have a support system, it makes it easy for you to detect these things in relationships.
The paternalism of it all, like, you know, this person is making rules and regulations that don't apply both ways. It's a very unilateral thing. So it's just a very toxic setup that is not sustainable if, you know, this person wants to have no any sort of like stability. It's not good for his mental health. It's not like this relationship is toxic on every level, and it's something that he needs to put an end to.
So on that note, we would also like to encourage anyone else who has any more queries or questions they want to ask or answer, then they need answers to send your queries and your concerns to us to the email address that is showing on your screen, and we will do our best to respond. Thank you. My name is Walter.
My name is Chidozie. Bye.
Bye.